Hi, I'm Karen Hall, President of UDirect IRA Services. Thanks so much for being here today with us. Really appreciate it. I'm here to talk to you today about prohibited transactions. But first I want to tell you that UDirect IRA Services is located in Southern California. We help people all over the country with their self-directed IRAs, and I want to help you today to have the best possible transaction. So let's get right to it. When it comes to prohibited transactions, there's a little bit of background information to have, so we'll talk about that. Certain people are allowed and certain people are disallowed to your IRA. People who are disallowed are your lineal ascendants and descendants, your parents and grandparents and their spouses, you and your spouse, and then your children and your grandchildren and their spouses, all disallowed to the IRA. All right, now that we understand that, we'll go forward. Prohibited transactions, they really fall into three buckets basically. So we're going to touch on 3 bullet points today. Number 1, your IRA is for retirement purposes only. So you're not allowed to have personal benefit, present benefit, indirect benefit in the IRA. And let's talk about what that means. I had somebody come in my office and what they wanted to do is make a note. And I said, well, that sounds great. The IRA can lend money to other people. Wonderful. So I said, well, that's great. Who are you going to lend the money to? He said, I'm going to lend the money to my sister-in-law. I think it's a great idea. I said, well, so do I, because the sister-in-law is one of these people out here, right? So that was fine. But I said, well, when your sister-in-law gets that money, what's she going to do with it? And he said, oh, well, she's going to lend it to my business. So that's a problem because the money starts in the IRA. Even though it goes around the corner to the sister-in-law, it still ends up in his business. That's called indirect benefit, and the IRS has an indirect benefit rule, and it's a prohibited transaction. So just remember, whenever you're doing anything with your IRA, it's arm's length, no present benefit. You're not going to have any money coming to you or no personal benefit at all to you or your companies or any assets that you own. Okay, number 2, prohibited transaction number 2. And that is that you can't buy, sell, or exchange property between the plan, the IRA, and someone who's disqualified. So very simply, your IRA is not going to buy an asset that your father owns. Your IRA is not going to sell an asset, say, to one of your children. In addition to that, your IRA is not going to buy any assets that you own personally. So your IRA is not going to, say, for example, buy a house that you've got. Maybe you've got a rental property over here. You think, oh, great, I'll put it in my IRA. Well, the IRS would call that self-dealing, and they would say that's a prohibited transaction. It can't be done. All right, so we've covered 2 of the 3 prohibited transactions. Number 3 really gets a lot of people in trouble. Number 3 is that you can't provide goods, services, or facilities to the plan. All right, what does that mean, right? Well, when your IRA owns an asset, you are disallowed to your IRA, and so you're not going to go in swinging the hammers. You're not going to go, say your IRA owns a house and the water heater bursts and it needs to be replaced. You're not going to be the one going in at 3 a.m. to replace that water heater. And the IRS has a name for that too. They call it an overcontribution of sweat equity. So you're not going to be swinging the hammers. You're not going to be doing any of the work. Keep it arm's length. But in addition to that, remember that it's the disallowed people that can't provide the goods, services, or facilities. So say, for example, you're a realtor. Your mother has a retirement account. And your mother decides she's going to self-direct her IRA and buy some rental property. Great idea, right? And you think, well, who could help her better than me? I'm her child. That could lead to a prohibited transaction because even if you're not taking any money for it, you're not allowed to provide services to the plan. So you're certainly not going to be the listing agent. You're not going to be the buyer's agent. What you want to do is really ship that out to somebody else in the real estate office. And then, you have it be reciprocal. Maybe they do you a favor one day and just keep it arm's length at all costs. So again, we've covered prohibited transactions. It's no present benefit. You're not going to buy, sell, or exchange property between the plan and and anyone who's disallowed. And you're not going to provide goods, services, or facilities to the plan. Thanks so much for joining us today. Again, I'm Karen Hall, President of UDirect IRA Services. You can reach us at toll-free 866-538-3539. You can go on our website, which has so much information. It's the letter U, udirectira.com, or email me at khall@udirectira.com. Thanks so much.